All right, welcome in, everybody. Today, we're doing a deep dive into something, well, pretty fascinating, I gotta say.
Yeah, this one caught my eye too.
The 1111 Wealth Code, huh?
Yeah, have you ever heard of anything like this?
Not exactly like this.
Whoa.
So we're looking at, like, promotional stuff for
Mm.
this audio hypnosis program.
Uh-huh.
It promises, like, wealth and abundance and all that.
Oh, yeah.
But get this, it's all through the power of the number 1111.
That's the hook. That's the big thing.
Yeah.
That's what they're selling.
Like, they're saying you can rewire your subconscious, for financial success. And it all starts with this number, 1111.
It's a pretty wild claim, right?
Ah, super wild.
But one thing that jumped out at me right away, it's how they use a personal story to draw you in.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, tell me about that.
So we're introduced to Daniel Miller, right? Aspiring musician.
Yeah.
And his life just totally falls apart in Las Vegas. It's tough. Poverty, addiction. He even loses his family, like rock bottom. Yeah, and I think that's smart because a lot of people can relate to those kinds of struggles, hitting rock bottom and
Yeah.
just desperately searching for some way out.
Totally, like that feeling of, like, what now?
Yeah.
Like, is this it?
Exactly.
Right.
And that's exactly where they introduce the solution, a chance meeting with, get this, a world-renowned hypnotist
Oh, wow.
named Aaron Surtees.
Okay.
But here's the thing. This meeting happens at a very specific time,
Go.
11:11 a.m.,
Whoa.
which, of course, brings in the whole idea of angel numbers and, all those signs from the universe, like a nudge towards a new beginning.
Like fate stepped in, almost.
Exactly. It taps into that desire we all have for guidance, especially when we're going through hard times.
Right, right.
And they don't stop there. They go on to highlight how important 1111 is in like all sorts of different contexts, astrology, numerology, even history. Like the end of World War I, which happened at the 11th hour on the 11th day of the 11th month.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So they're basically like building up all these layers of meaning around 1111.
Yeah, exactly. They're taking it beyond just a random number and turning it into like a symbol of transformation, hope, and ultimately abundance.
Okay, so how does all of this, like, tie back to the 1111 Wealth Code program itself? Like, what do they actually want people to do?
So, according to the program, this guy, Aaron, he figured out a way to like harness the energy of 1111, and he does it through hypnosis.
Okay, I'm listening.
His theory is that if you tap into your subconscious mind, you can actually rewire your brain for abundance. And the key to doing this, an 11-minute, 11-second audio session.
11 minutes and 11 seconds. It does sound kind of like almost too good to be true. Like, just listen to a track and suddenly your finances are all fixed.
It's a big promise for sure, but
Yeah.
it plays into our desire for, a quick fix and easy transformation.
Hmm.
They also back up their claims with like success stories, like Daniel, the guy from the beginning after his session with Aaron. Well, his life totally changes. He wins the lottery.
Ugh.
Yeah. He lands a residency gig for his music.
Wow.
Even wins big at blackjack.
So he's, like, seeing 11.1 everywhere, right?
Oh, yeah, everywhere he looks.
It's like a Cinderella story almost.
And to make it even more convincing, they really play up Aaron's credentials, TV appearances, books he's written, all sorts of successes treating various issues with hypnosis. It's all about establishing his expertise.
Right, so, like, he knows what he's doing.
Exactly.
They really want to hammer that home.
Yeah.
And they don't just stop with Daniel's story.
Right.
They have testimonials from others
Right.
who've used the program.
Oh, yeah, tons of them. There's Evan, who landed a new job. Liam had some kind of artistic breakthrough. And Samantha, she gets this unexpected inheritance.
Okay, so they're showing us all these different people from different backgrounds, and they're all having success.
Exactly. It's like they're saying, look, it worked for them. It can work for you, too.
Makes you wonder, doesn't it?
It definitely makes you curious.
So, okay, let's recap. We've got this program, claims to unlock abundance through hypnosis, all tied to this number, 1111. Kind of sparks both fascination and skepticism, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. There's like a lot to unpack here. The psychology of belief, the whole subconscious mind thing, even the ethics of marketing a program like this. It's a lot.
It's a lot to think about.
But before we dive deeper into all that, I'm curious, what are your initial thoughts so far? What stands out to you?
Yeah, we really grabbed your attention.
One thing that strikes me about this whole 1111 wealth code thing is how it taps into this idea that's been around forever. Our thoughts, like, actually shape our reality.
Yeah, it's like that whole law of attraction thing, right?
Yeah.
Where, like, Positive thoughts supposedly bring positive experiences.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
if we're always thinking about, negativity and what we don't have, we might just end up attracting more of the same.
Oh, interesting.
But when we shift our focus, right, start thinking about abundance and all the possibilities out there, we could open ourselves up to something completely different.
So, like, even if we ignore all the hypnosis stuff and the, like, mystical meanings they're attaching to 1111, there's still a valuable lesson here
Totally.
about being intentional, visualizing what we want, and, like, really believing in our ability to make positive changes.
Absolutely. And, even though the material is ultimately trying to sell you something, it does kind of highlight the importance of taking responsibility for our, financial well-being.
Right.
It's encouraging us to actually engage with our money mindset instead of just like passively accepting our circumstances.
It reminds me of, like, what we see in those financial independence communities online.
Yeah.
It's not just about luck or, like, winning the lottery or whatever. It's about making choices, building good habits, and truly believing that you can achieve your goals.
You hit the nail on the head. And financial well-being, it's not just about stacking up cash. It's about feeling secure, feeling free, and having a healthy relationship with money overall.
Yeah, for sure. And the 11-1 Wealth Code, with all this emphasis on abundance, it seems like it's really tapping into that deep desire for financial freedom,
Yeah.
having enough to do what you want, to live a life that aligns with your values.
For sure. And while they're suggesting that hypnosis is the way to get there, they also kind of hint at the importance of taking action.
Oh, you're right. Even Daniel, the guy from the story, even after his session, he still had to do stuff, right? Like perform his music network, buy that lottery ticket.
Yeah, yeah.
Abundance didn't just magically fall into his lap.
Right. He had to be open to those opportunities and actually do something when they popped up.
So it's like a two-part thing. Inner work, like shifting your mindset, and then outer action, actually doing something about it.
Exactly. It's both working together.
So, okay, the 11-1 Wealth Code might offer a specific method, but the big ideas underneath, those are things we can all use, right? Whether or not we buy into the whole hypnosis thing or fixate on specific numbers.
Absolutely. It all boils down to believing in ourselves, setting clear intentions, and then actually taking action day after day to achieve those goals.
This deep dive has been, like, really eye-opening. We've explored their claims, the science behind it all, even the power of belief. But we haven't really touched on the ethical side of things yet.
Yeah.
Like, these programs that promise these huge life-altering results, it always makes you wonder.
Yeah, I see what you mean. On the one hand, the program talks about empowering yourself and taking control of your finances.
Right.
But, you got to approach these kinds of programs with a healthy dose of skepticism, right?
Totally. We always tell our listeners, be critical thinkers, do your research. If something sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
Exactly. And, it's important to remember we're just sharing the information from the source material here.
Right.
We're not endorsing the program. It's up to each person to decide if it's right for them, if it aligns with their values and all that.
For sure. For sure. But, all of this has really got me thinking. The 11-11 Wealth Code,
Yeah.
even with its, particular method and all that,
Yeah.
it highlights something that's universally true.
Yeah.
We all have the power to shape our reality, to attract abundance, and not necessarily through, like, magic or whatever, but through our choices, our actions.
That's a really powerful insight. It reminds us that we're not just passive bystanders in our own lives. We're active creators of our own experiences. And
Right.
that's a really empowering message, regardless of whether or not you decide to explore this specific program or find your own path to financial well-being.
So as we wrap up this part of our conversation, I want to hear from you, our listener. What are your thoughts on this whole interplay between mindset, intention, and action when it comes to creating financial well-being?
Our minds are pretty powerful, huh? It's wild to think that our thoughts and beliefs can actually shape our reality, and with money, too.
Yeah, it's a lot to wrap your head around. I mean, the 11-11 Wealth Code might seem a little, I don't know, out there for some folks, but it does make you think about the potential of our subconscious. It's like all those studies about the placebo effect. People experience actual changes, even physical changes, just because they believe they're getting treatment. So imagine if that belief could impact our finances too.
It's true that mind-body connection is a powerful thing. Of course, practical steps like budgeting and investing, that's all crucial. But having a positive money mindset, I think that can play a big role in attracting abundance.
Right. It's not about just sitting around and waiting for money to appear.
No, not at all.
It's about being open to opportunities, taking action, and believing that you can reach your goals.
Exactly. It's about switching from like a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset.
Right.
Believing there's enough out there for everyone.
And that we deserve to succeed.
Exactly. And hey, maybe seeing 11:11 on the clock can be like a little reminder to stay positive and focused on our goals.
I love that, turning a random number into a positive affirmation. So what if our listeners want to learn more about this 1111 Wealth Code? See if it's something they want to explore.
We'll put a link in the description where you can find out all about the program. You can see their claims, how it works, even listen to a sample of the audio hypnosis session.
It's all about giving you guys the info you need to make your own informed decisions. Remember, here on The Deep Dive, we love to explore, we love to learn. We don't endorse any specific program or product, but we're all about diving deep into fascinating ideas and giving our listeners knowledge.
So if you're curious, go ahead and check out that link. And as you go about your day, pay attention to your thoughts about money. Are they positive, abundant, or are they like rooted in fear or scarcity?
That's a great point. And if you catch yourself slipping into those negative thought patterns, remember the message at the heart of the 1111 Wealth Code. You have the power to shift your mindset, to get in line with your goals, and create a brighter financial future.
Every journey starts with that first step, right? So what's yours going to be?
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the 1111 Wealth Code. We hope you found it insightful, intriguing, and maybe even a little inspiring. We'll see you next time for another deep dive. Until then, keep exploring, keep learning,